Alright guys, here's a redistribution quick overview. The way it works out is here's first of all the schematic they use. And you'll have these preliminary supports, there could be many of them, which continuously fail to stop the price action from going lower until the selling climax, which stops the downward trend into a more consolidation or horizontal structure. Here, the price action still sort of tends to go downward like this, right? And the idea being is the selling still starts increasing, and you'll create this trading range from the AR to the selling climax, very important, that once you get to these points, this sign of weakness that exits the trading range, it's a quick trap, right? The newer traders will start, more like Bybit traders, they'll start shorting after it goes down here, afraid they're going to miss it. And then it quickly goes back up, takes all of this liquidity, wipes out anybody who's opened shorts, goes up here, and people think it's recovering, the price action, right? You have the 3 spikes downward. Wow, it might be a nice accumulation. It goes outside the trading range, people start longing, goes back in, wrecks all the longs, and continues downward, right? And it takes this liquidity up here as well once it breaks through the trading range. Well, the way you take advantage of this is you wait until it gets back in the trading range and then you short. Once it goes back in, retests it. Ideally, sometimes it doesn't retest it, but ideally, if you want to be safe, you wait until it retests. And then you short, right? And it should be collapsing, cascading downwards after that. Here's some examples. They're kind of hard to spot at times as well, but when you do, you can find them quite easily. I've only used Bitcoin and Ethereum to show you this. Here on Bitcoin, we have one just recently, right? You have that downward action, goes outside the range, goes above the range, wipes out here, cascades down, right? Classic. Not all of them are very classic like that. You have the violent downward action, same as over there. It's how they usually create the redistributions. It's a major component of them. If you don't see this violent action, most likely it's not going to be a redistribution. The downward price action breaks down the lows. You can actually move this down here, right? Breaks down the lows, wipes out all of that liquidity, goes above, wipes out this liquidity, continues downwards, right? Let's see the next one that we got here. This is an interesting one. It was recently this year at the low, the large accumulation, right? There was such a major pushback here because there's a lot of volume that it never really regained those highs, right? It was actually rejected here because there's still a lot of selling. So it never did. And even here during the lows, it was buying. So it wasn't the greatest redistribution visually, but it's the same concept. After violent down action, it starts the consolidation, and it wiped out this liquidity and this, right, with this upthrust. And then it went down and it was bought back up. That was the lows of the accumulation, so it didn't actually fulfill it fully as a redistribution. Let's check ETH, see if I found anything. ETH is much stronger. It's much more visible in Bitcoin because Ethereum tends to be stronger as of late, so the structures get much more distorted. So you kind of have to look at Bitcoin, because if Bitcoin has a redistribution, this will inevitably fall lower, but it won't look very good. Right, on Bitcoin we had this redistribution here. You can kind of see it like this, right? Bounces back up. Well, this is the current price action. Is it a redistribution? I think so, but I don't know. I'm not positive, and I don't know if it's going to go lower than what it went either. It's not the prettiest one, let's say, but we have a nice one here, right? Violent down action, breakdown of price, goes lower than the lowest low. This, you can put it here, or you can actually put it here, but it is here essentially. That's kind of the range. which is another matter, how to draw it properly, which we'll talk about in another video. But it goes back up, wipes out liquidity here, wipes out all this liquidity, cascades down. Right? I think, see, even the redistribution that we had on Bitcoin here, it doesn't exist here. It's because Ethereum had a lot of underlying support here, a lot of upwards momentum and everything, so it just looks different. But that's how they look. That's the basic premise behind them, and you short when you get to this point, right? It's the safest place. See how it retests the range, right? Breaks through, retests. That's the safest place to do it. It's, almost a guaranteed good trade. So, because you can use the stop loss right above the trading range or above this high right here. So that's it about redistribution.